Good afternoon, colleagues. Today's lesson is about project success. I want to discuss with you what it means to have a successful project. Many definitions have been given in the literature about a successful project. But today I want to discuss with you what I know and what I've experienced as a successful project. A successful project is a project within which the project is executed and completed within the allocated time period. So, for instance, if the planned time period was 12 months, and if the project is completed within that time period or less than the 12 months, we declare it as a successful project. If the project is also completed within the budget, that is the initial budget, if it is completed within that initial budget, we say the project is successful. And if the project is also completed at the proper performance level or specification level, as originally planned, we say the project is successful. And if the project has also been, the customer or the beneficiaries of the project is satisfied with the project and they've accepted it, we declare success for the project. And if the project is completed within the minimum or mutually agreed scope changes, every project there's going to be scope changes. But if it's completed within the threshold of scope changes, the allowable threshold of scope changes, we say the project is successful. For instance, in some jurisdictions, you have that allowance of not more than 20% of the original scope for change. So if we complete within that 20% allowance, then we say the project is successful. If the project is completed without disturbing the normal operations of the project organization, we also say the project is successful. And if the project is executed without changing the corporate culture of the organization, then we say the project is successful. Now, looking at this definition, it looks more like an ideal situation for a project. And it's very, very difficult to achieve this. In fact, the statistics indicate that most projects fail. So to achieve these conditions, it's not an easy feat at all. But it's achievable. It's possible. I can give you an example of a project which was declared a success and even won awards by the international project management organizations. An example is the Mozal Aluminium Smelter project in Mozambique. Started with an initial budget of $1.4 million, and the project was completed about $100 million below budget. It was also completed 6 months ahead of schedule. So that tells you that it's achievable. But I want to delve deep into what it really means to have a successful project. I've described to you the ideal one, and I want to go in deeper and explain that a project success comes in 2 dimensions. We have project management success, and then we have the other dimension, success with the end user or the beneficiary. The first dimension means you've finished the project efficiently. You've been successful with the project management. You've met the time, you went under budget, performance requires what's okay, so you satisfy the client. But there's another dimension to the project success. The end user, the one who is going to use the project, or the customer. The acceptance of the project by the customer is also another dimension of success. Or if the project meets the needs of this end user or customer, That's also another dimension of success, project success. So virtually we have two dimensions of project success. So the point is, which dimension are we going with? Do you just satisfy the client, get an efficient project management, and that's it? No, it doesn't end there. There's also the other dimension. You could finish a project efficiently. Everything looks okay. You met the time, you met the budget, performance requirements was fine. But the customer could reject this project. I've had cases like that, where we've done beautiful projects, but unfortunately it was not accepted by the end user. So it's important that the end user's opinion is also factored into the declaration of the project success. And most of the time, the end user's opinion or the end user's acceptance is what is used to judge the overall project success. So, what are the key success factors? Or what are some of the things that will contribute to the success of your project? And I want to share a few of them with you. These key success factors run across all projects in various sectors. But these are the areas that you need to focus on to make sure that these areas are held at bay, because they will enhance the success of the project. And some of the key success factors, the very first one is selecting the right project. If I say the right project, the project that meets the strategic goals of the organization. So it starts with the project selection. And normally project selection is related to the business case, the benefits. So if you select the wrong project, you will not be successful with the execution of the project, because you'll finish the project as I indicated, but you haven't satisfied the strategic goals of the organization, or you haven't met the customer needs. So you select the right project that will meet the needs of the beneficiaries and also make sure that it satisfies the strategic goals of the organization or the client. The next thing that contributes to project success is the structure of the project. That is the project governance. We call it project governance. How is the project going to be managed? Within which vehicle are we going to use to manage this project? And it's very important. There are various structures for managing projects. You might have heard of the pure project structure, the matrix structure, the PMU, the PMO, the mixed structure. These are all various structures that are available for managing your project. And the thing is that you need to pick the right structure, because it's a source of risk for your project. The next factor that also contributes to the success of your project is the project management tools and techniques. And you know them. We have the project management tools and techniques, the Gantt chart, so many of them on the market. But the point is that you need to select the right tools and use them correctly. They are just tools. They will not do the work for you, but they can help you achieve the success of the project. You also have to begin with the success criteria. In your project management plan, you must have a success criteria, or sometimes we call it critical success factors, CSF. The critical success factors are things that are very critical to this project. And they are the ones that we are going to use to measure the success of the project. So you need to determine these critical success factors and focus on them and make sure you achieve them, because that's what we are going to use to measure your success at the end of the project. Another factor which is also of most concern for the success of your project are the execution of the project itself. When the project starts and is ongoing, the project must be closely managed. Time must be monitored and controlled. Budget must be monitored and controlled. Performance must be monitored and controlled. Stakeholders must be handled with care. And so many other details about the project. And they need to be closely managed. You don't need to ignore anything at all in projects. You do that to your peril. So manage the details of the project closely. The various aspects of the project. The time, the budget. What is it? The stakeholders. The whatever, the risk. All of it has to be closely managed. Then the big picture must be understood. That is, what are we achieving at the end of the day? The question of what? The big picture, because definitely your project is not in a vacuum. It's contributing to the strategic goal or the strategic objectives of the organization. So the point is, what contribution is this project making to this big picture? Decisions are quickly made. If you have a system where decisions are quickly made, it helps in the achievement of the success, project success. Communication is frequent and rampant. Risks are managed and controlled. Risk is very crucial. You cannot ignore risk at all. You must be very proactive as far as risk management is concerned. Always looking out with a third eye, what can go wrong, and putting in mitigative measures to ensure that they are mitigated before they occur. Don't ignore risk. At all your meetings, project meetings, talk about risk. Expectations are properly managed. Yes, stakeholders come with expectations. You must know these stakeholders and what their expectations are, and try and manage those expectations. Some of the expectations are not achievable, and you must let them know that these expectations are not achievable within the constraints of the project. But those that are achievable, please make sure you factor them into the project. There will be conflicts between expectations. Stakeholders who have differing expectations. You need to find a way of managing those conflicts and coming to a consensus as to what the project can provide at the end of the day. Don't ignore your stakeholders and their expectations. If you ignore it, it will come back to bite you. They will reject the project at the end of it all. Approvals and sign-offs are respected. Yes. You are running the project within the methodology. You are going through the project stage by stage. And according to your project management methodology, at each stage, there's a gate where you pause and have a look at what you have achieved, whether you are on target. And your deliverables at this stage needs to be approved and signed off. And an instruction needs to be issued for you to proceed to the next stage. Is this thing being respected? If you ignore it and you run through the project, it will come back to bite you. I've had an experience like that, where we've executed a project to about stage 3 of the project. We are almost getting to procurement of the contractor. Then the client comes back to tell us, asks us, do we have the project brief? The project brief is actually in the stage 1 of the project. We never had a brief. Meanwhile, we've gone ahead to design. We've gone ahead to do cost estimate. We've gone ahead to do everything. We are just heading towards the procurement of the contractor. Please respect the approvals. I know sometimes there could be delays in these approvals and sign-offs, but please respect them. If you dodge them, it will come back to bite you. Everyone must be involved throughout the execution of the project. If I say everyone, I'm talking of the key stakeholders. And you know them, the clients, the beneficiaries, Those who are going to use the project at the end of the day, don't ignore them. They must be involved throughout the duration of the project. They must be at the project meetings. Invite them to the project meetings. Show them the deliverables. Let them comment and obtain consensus. If you ignore these things, ladies and gentlemen, it will hit against you hard. Meetings are held regularly. Yes. You must have regular meetings. Don't ignore that kind of association of the key stakeholders. Hold project meetings. Do review meetings. Let's look at what we have achieved. Are we on track? What is going on? What are the issues? And resolve it together at these meetings. And also, you must also have good relationship with the project sponsors, those who provide the money. Remember, they provide the money. So you must please them. They also have expectations as far as the project is concerned. And you must develop a very good rapport with the project sponsors. Give them whatever they want. Some of them have certain requirements that needs to be fulfilled, certain reports that must be submitted at any particular point in time in the execution of the project. Please make sure you satisfy them so that the money can be provided for the project. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. This is what we mean by a successful project. And I wish that whatever project you are engaged in, you will be very successful with it. To tell you the truth, it's not very easy. I've managed quite a number of projects, and some of them has been far from success. But that should not discourage you. Look at these critical success factors I've just discussed with you and focus on them and be very particular about them. And I believe it can contribute to the success of your project. Visit me on my Facebook page, #GCCJBCC, or subscribe to my YouTube channel, JB Nate, as I discuss with you some of these issues concerning your projects. Thank you very much.